Let's talk about workflow. I suspect most animators' workflows are constantly evolving as you pick up things from your peers and such, and I'm really no different. So what I'll show in this video is how I'm working right now, and I reserve the right to change it whenever I want. So in this example, I'm working on a takedown exercise. So once I have the scene set up with my reference, a basic stage, and the characters, I start with the storytelling poses. And I've also heard these referred to as golden poses. Basically, these are the poses within the animation that make the foundation of the shot. So without these poses, this shot doesn't work. So if we start off here at the front end, most often the beginning pose and the end pose will be storytelling poses. So here the characters have started to grapple. This pose is telling us that these two characters are going to compete in some kind of physical challenge. If I go on to this next pose, I chose this one for two reasons. First, the blue guy has moved in and wrapped his leg behind the red guy's knee. And second, he's forced that red guy's, I guess that would be his right arm inward, kind of putting him in a vulnerable position. So I would say those are storytelling poses. The next pose I chose here because this is where the blue guy's knee hits the ground. This is where the force of that leverage kind of culminates for the blue guy. And lastly, the end pose. So what's happened here? I guess in its most basic terms, we've set up a confrontation, a leg grab, forcing the characters down, and hold. Now, of course, there's a lot going on in between these storytelling poses, and I do have to flesh those out. That's where the key poses come in. I guess you can look at it this way. All storytelling poses are key poses, but not all key poses are storytelling poses. What I'm trying to do here at this stage is flesh out that foundation we started building with the storytelling poses. So I'll stop this here. We'll go to the first one. That was the first kind of storytelling pose. And this was the second one. Now this one in between. What I'm trying to show here, this is where he has pushed his opponent's, the blue guy, has pushed his opponent's arms down and starts to move in for that leg wrap. And then if we look between this storytelling pose and this one, I have this pose. Now you don't see a lot going on here. In fact, I do have to make some adjustments here because this foot has stuck. But what I'm trying to show here is that this is the pose when our blue guy forces his arm up into the red guy's armpit. Now, I guess you could argue that this is a breakdown pose, but I do feel it's kind of necessary for that foundation, and that's why I've included it here. And then between this pose and this pose, I have this one. Now, this pose does a couple of things. First off, I needed to see what that blue guy's left leg was going to do between the two poses. And I also wanted this to be the point where the red guy's butt hits the floor. And then finally, between these two poses, I put this one. And this is just to kind of reinforce the power of that takedown. You can see he's more compressed here than he is here. So he kind of really slams into the ground, making that last pose kind of a settle pose. I'll end here with just a bit of a tangent. I was asked to talk about some of the tools that I use while animating. And right now, the biggest tool that I'm using is AnimBot, and I'll put the link in the description. It's a suite of just about any tool that you can think of. It's right here down along the bottom, and it's got tween machine, key nudgers, arc trackers, and a ton more. I really don't know every single one of the tools yet, but it's pretty sweet. I thank you for that suggestion, and I will go into more detail about some of the specific tools in future videos. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.